Good evening everybody and welcome to full delayed coverage of last night's Europa League match between Aberdeen and Burnley. The first meeting between these two sides, a Battle of Britain clash which was always going to be very tight in terms of the way the game was going to end up being, but it was always going to be tough. But Aberdeen, a side that finished second of course in the Scottish Premier Division last season, up against Burnley, who finished 7th last season of course, and it was always going to be a tough ask for Burnley. First leg is always difficult, but when we expected to be on the European tour, I didn't expect us to be in Scotland, but the atmosphere at Pittodrie was quite a superb one, and it was also before the match day. Remembered 1983 hero Neil Cooper, the Aberdeen fans, who died of course during the summer months. So it was a nice little touch there, nice little banner. It said heroes remembered. Legends never die. So the teams coming out of the tunnel then as we join the match, as the teams emerge from the tunnel. Well, here we are. Good evening from Pittodrie on a historic night for Burnley Football Club. 51 years since they were last in Europe in the same competition then known as the Intercity Fairs Cup. They're back in action, and so are we on the Chorus Match Live. Only 12 days after I covered the World Cup final, I'm back on commentary duty. Not much of a summer break for me, but we're back live, and the first match of the new season, competitive season for us here on this YouTube channel, sees Burnley away from home against an Aberdeen side who finished second in the SPL last season. Let's look at the Aberdeen side with Joe Lewis in goal, then Shane Logan, Graham Shinney number 3, Scott McKenna 5, Niall McGinn 10, Gary McCarr-Stevens signed from Celtic number 11, Sam Crosgold the big centre forward 16, Michael Devlin 18, Lewis Ferguson 19, 21 is Dominic Ball, and 28 Tommy Oban, Cherney, Forrester, Gleeson, Wright, Stevie May, Dean Campbell and Bruce Anderson amongst the substitutes for Aberdeen tonight. Burnley go with the strongest possible lineup. Nick Pope in goal, as per the Tom Heaton, he's out for injury. Then it's Matt Lurton, James Tarkowski, Ben Mee and Stephen Ward across the back, and then 3 in the midfield with Jack Cork, Jeff Henrick and Ashley Westwood in there, and up front you've got Lennon on the right, Chris Wood in the middle and Johan Berg Goodmanson on the left. On the bench, Lindegaard, Taylor, Vokes, Walters. And so Lindegaard, Vokes, Walters, Wacky Wells, Phil Bardsley and Irish centre-back Kevin Long, who's actually been at the club for quite some time despite the fact that he's now 26-27 years old. The fans are really up for this one tonight here in the Granite City. Referee tonight is Daniel Scherbert of Germany. And we're all set for the kick-off of the new football season here on the JB Claret YouTube channel. Delayed coverage, delayed commentary of this Battle of Britain Part 1. Second leg at Turf Moor a week tonight. Well, and me and Chris Whiteman, our new resident commentator. Just before we start, just to announce the schedule, myself and Chris Whiteman will be your main commentaries, and of course Russ Vernon will chip in with a few during the season. So I'm not going to be the only voice on the JB Claret YouTube channel. We'll have Chris back and Russ back from World Cup duty, they both had superb World Cups, and they will be both back with us, with me, for the season ahead. But our first Chorus match of the new season, first Chorus match commentary in the new season, features Burnley against Aberdeen in Burnley's best European game for 51 years, and what a match it will prove to be, as the toss-up is conducted between the two captains. Ben Mee given the captain's armband, and Shinney, the other captain there for Aberdeen. Burnley in an all-new strip today, look like Tottenham actually, all white, white shirts, white shorts, white stockings, so they're playing all in white tonight. Aberdeen in all red. Burnley still really in the middle of pre-season. The Scottish season has started, competitive Scottish season has started early with the Scottish League Cup, the Betfred Cup up there. But the referee is about to get underway. It's Aberdeen against Burnley, and Burnley's first European adventure for 51 years. Their first European adventure in Burnley for 51 years will soon be underway. And away we go. Europa League second qualifying round. The Battle of Britain is up and running, and Aberdeen in the red shirts attacking the goal to our left, Burnley to the right. Stephen Ward with an early throw. Burnley hot favourites. A lot being said about Scottish football recently as Wood gets on the end of that ball, gets the shot in, and then it comes away to Aberdeen, who hooked that one forward. Ben Mee cutting that one out. I have to say it's been a raucous occasion, and this is Lennon on the right hand side. Lennon with the cross, hooked away again by the Aberdeen defence. Now Lowton trying to knock a ball in there, but that should be Joe Lewis, who gets in inside his 6-yard area. It's been a lot made of Scottish football, with Adam Rooney moving away from Aberdeen in Europe and finishing second behind Celtic in the Scottish Premier table, and moving to the conference and to Salford and to the Salford City team. Offside there given against Aberdeen, free kick. Just see a replay of the opportunity here for Lennon. He's shot off, and the defender hadn't been in the way there. Might have been a cause there for an early goal. It's quite a cracking atmosphere around the stadium here. As Nick Pope, well, he hasn't had a summer break, Pope, which could be a little bit of worry. He was with the England side during the World Cup, so he hasn't really had a proper break, really, if you see what I mean. Which is always a worry, I suppose, in terms of fitness levels and one thing or another. He really did need a pre-season, and Tarkowski there getting the ball back. There's big Sam Cosgrove, number 16. Started his career in England, in actual fact, so he knows about the English game. So that's going to be well, I wouldn't say a concern, but he's a big, bulky centre forward, and he could be a big threat. Of course, Gary Mackay-Steven, as we all know, is a top quality player himself. And, the ball already with Joe Lewis. As Lennon again involved on the right hand side. Cross was just too close to the Aberdeen goalkeeper, Joe Lewis, a former Ipswich Town man. I'm sure Ipswich fans who are tuning in will thank me for that. As we look at James Tarkowski getting the long ball forward. Tarkowski all the way down the field, and then cut out once again. Ball tossed forward once more towards the far side, and out of play for a throw-in. It's Gary Mackay-Steven. It didn't work out for him at Celtic. It was a big move for him to go to Celtic Park. It just never worked out under Brendan Rodgers, but he's back up there. Started out at Dundee United, incidentally. Mackay-Steven. One over the top back looking for him, and the ball should be Nick Pope's. In fact, Pope just, well, I thought he might have let that one go, Pope, but there's the Aberdeen manager. That's Derek McInnes, the Aberdeen manager. The marble stuff there. They finished in between the old firm. Of course, Rangers finished third last season, which was a great achievement for Aberdeen to finish above Rangers in the table, considering that Rangers, of course, on paper look a much more better outfit than what Aberdeen are. But Aberdeen to finish above Rangers is no mean achievement by any stretch of some imagination. That has got to be said. And one ball forward. That's going to be Ben Mees. No trouble at all. And a long ball forward, and again cut out there by the Aberdeen defence. Ward's battling over there with Shinnie on down below me on the near side, and it is a throw in to Burnley, just 10 yards from halfway inside their own half. This is Ben Mee now for the Clarets. 0-0 is the scoreline here in this European Europa League second qualifying round. The winners of course going to the third round, and they will face a trip to Turkey. First leg here tonight, and then a week today the second leg at Turf Moor, which me and Chris Whiteman will be there vlogging for the YouTube channel and for his YouTube channel. We got tickets in the cricket field stand, and so we won't have the match commentary for the second leg, but we'll endeavour to bring you full match commentaries for all Burnley's away fixtures in the Europa League. Obviously it'll be a very tough task for us to get there, and of course Burnley fans are troubled. They've had over 8,500 Clarets points to be able to qualify for tickets for this particular occasion here tonight, so which I find rather bad in the extreme. Meanwhile, the German ref gives a decision, I think, against Ben Mee over on the far side. And Cosgrove, who's throws himself about a bit, there's no doubt about that. And already we've had 6 minutes of the first half. There's Sean Dyche, the Clarets manager. What his job he's done. I mean, when he took over the Clarets, I don't really want to go over all ground, to be quite honest with you, but when he took over the Clarets back in 2012, he was the team was struggling at the wrong end of the championship. Just kept them up in the half a season there, and then in his first full season using something like not many players. I think he only used about 23 players. He got Burnley into the Premier League at the first time of asking in his first full season, and did it with just a two-pronged strike force, and they had only two strikers on the books, and Barnes did join him towards the back end of that season, and he got one of the crucial goals against Wigan. They got relegated the next season, came back up as champions, and now they've had two successive years in the Premier League, and here they are in Europe, and here they come now, and that's the good ball, good crossing there, and everyone left it, and in the end Mackay-Steven picks it up on the far side, the ball back in there towards Cosgrove, then the ball comes out again, and then the shot is wildly hit wide for a goal kick to Burnley. A good moment there for Aberdeen. It's a good ball in there by the number 10. And Scary Mackay-Steven knocked that one back, then the header back, and then over the top. It's a good little purposeful run there by the number 10 there, which is Niall McGinn. A lot of things have a lot of people have spoke very highly of in recent weeks and months. It's a very good, widely tipped to be a Scottish international of the future, so we're told. With a one 3/4 away in the field, Warding to win the next one. Now Cook, it breaks through, then Lennon on the side of the centre circle. Westwood's in there to win the next one, and that's good skills there. Now Aberdeen 0. Good first half here at Pittodrie, which is 8 minutes into proceedings here. 0-0 here in the Battle of Britain, leg 1. Ball delay commentary of it. Burnley had a very tiresome pre-season game against Preston, which was quite a battle in the end. 3-2 they won it in the end, although they had the youngsters out for most of the second half on Tuesday. Here's Lennon running at pace, Pennant's cross, and again Lewis had to beat it away, and in the end Scott McKenna having to beat it out. It was a real moment there for Burnley, but here's Gary Mackay-Steven running at pace. Steven can't get it through, and then a good tackle there by Ward. No doubt at all, the Aberdeen fans want a free kick, but it was a good tackle from Stephen Ward, there's no doubt about that. as Graham Shinney went on the break, but Ward got back there and clearly took the ball. Good decision that from the German referee. The two assistants are Jan Schriedel and Lassie Koloski there from Germany. The fourth official is Patrick Idrich from Germany, and the match delegate is Thibaut de Grand of Belgium, and the referee observer Jan Van Reef of Holland. No VAR. UEFA have decided not to use VAR in this season's competition. As Shane Logan takes the throw in on the far side, 5 yards from halfway, just steals a couple of yards but gets the throw in. 10 minutes gone then at Pittodrie. Aberdeen 0, Burnley 0 in the first leg of this Battle of Britain in the Europa League. And here is number 10, now McGinn now on the right hand side. McGinn with the cross, little whooping ball in there, and Cosgrove going in hard on Pope, and then there's another challenge on Pope. He's lying prostrate on the ground, and this could be trouble for Nick Pope. Pope is signalling to the bench. I think his game may be over before it started, and it looks like his shoulder, and it could well be his left shoulder. It was the cross in there, half deflects. Cosgrove was in there, so too was Lewis Ferguson on the second ball when he was battling with Tarkowski, but well, if that was caused by the challenge by Cosgrove, then I think Cosgrove's a little bit fortunate there to be not penalised there, because he did go in hard on the goalkeeper. There's the ball, it was there to be won, there's no doubt about that. I think Cosgrove was a bit high with his tackle, and I think it might have been the second one with Ferguson. I think he's made contact with Pope's glove, and I think that's what's happened there, and that domino effect there, it's knocked the shoulder out, and that's going to cause problems. They do have a substitute goalkeeper, incidentally, Burnley. It's Anders Lindegaard, whose last European appearance was for Manchester United in 2012 in the Champions League. He has been a prominent number 2. Hasn't played a first team game, Lindegaard, the former United keeper, since joining from Burnley almost a year ago to act as cover when Tom Heaton got a similar sort of injury, although in a different fashion. He sustained his injury against Crystal Palace, you may remember, when he went to catch a high crossing from the left hand side, you may remember, and then fell awkwardly on his shoulder. This is a different kind of shoulder injury to the one Tom Heaton has suffered, but Pope was only playing tonight because of a slight thigh strain to Tom Heaton that he picked up earlier in the week against Preston. So Tom Heaton will feel, we're not being disrespectful for Pope, Tom Heaton will feel once he's fit again, the window of opportunity will open back up for him. But it's a real blow for Burnley to lose such a great keeper, and he's been such a star in the last 12 months. Nick Pope got into the England team, had to play third fiddle to, of course, Jack Buckland and Nick Pope at the World Cup. Jack Buckland and Jordan Pickford at the recent World Cup, which they reached the semi-finals, and well, that's a sad sight to end. And I hope it's not going to be too serious. Let's just hope and pray that's a precautionary measure, and Pope is not out for too long. He's a terrific goalkeeping talent. What Lindegaard will offer you is certainly in abundance. With 13 minutes gone, it will offer. Well, he's having a little chat there with Derek McGuinness. All light-hearted stuff. As we go into the 13th minute, as we're halfway through the 14th minute of the first half here at Pittodrie. But it's a sad sight to see Nick Pope off the field. And let's hope it's nothing too serious. So Pope off. What a sad sight to see. You don't want to see a footballer stretched off like that. Poor old Nick Pope. He's had a terrific last 12 months where he's gone into the team and has absolutely played out of his skin, got himself into the England team, and now he's suffered a similar injury to Tom Heaton, although in different circumstances, and goes down the tunnel absolutely distraught. And let's hope it's nothing serious. So Lindegaard on for Heaton. Burnley forced into an early substitution with 14.5 minutes almost gone. Lindegaard will get his first touch straight away, and that's to boot the ball forward from the free kick. A long ball, 3/4 of the way, almost up the field. Header won there by Mike Devlin, and then a foul there by Ben Mee. Free kick to Aberdeen. And we're coming up towards a quarter of an hour gone then in this first half. Free kick to Aberdeen, just 5 or 6 yards over the halfway line, I would make it. Inside the Burnley half. And Ferguson to take it. On just to the right hand side, the far side as we've got Ferguson right footed. We'll hope to knock a long ball in there. And in fact he knocks it over towards the right where Gary Mackay-Stevens is waiting, and they appeal a decision there, but nothing given there by the German official, the referee, Mr. Schibert. And the Scottish fans will be rise up for this one. The Scottish fans are up for this one, there's no doubt about it. There's a foul there to their disconsolation. Burnley fans in good numbers. They actually took over Aberdeen, in fact, the City, during the day, as McKenna's been penalised. Scott McKenna, number 5. So a free kick. 0-0 then, but Burnley forced into a change. Nick Pope off for a shoulder injury, in a similar circumstance to what Tom Heaton did, but in much different cause in what happened to Tom Heaton. And obviously Anders Lindegaard is now on as Aberdeen look to try and threaten again. And they've got a free kick there. Got a cheap one there by Chris Wood there on now again. It was a silly free kick for Wood to concede, because Aberdeen weren't going too far forward there, and he just tugged him back. It was silly. Silly play there from Chris Wood, midway inside the half, and a cheap free kick really conceded for no reason whatsoever by Chris Wood. It was just a little bit brainless from the Burnley centre forward. They're going 3 up front, or they're going for 4-3-3 or 4-5-1, whichever way you want to term it. I think you'd have been better off going with Sam Vokes up front. I think Chris Wood is I think they'll miss the likes of Brady, Defoe and Barnes, who are, well, we're all doubtful for the game anyway, as the Ben Mee wins another header. Now it breaks to Mackay-Stevens on the right. Chance here now for Logan to get a cross in towards the area, towards Cosgrove. It goes down there. Robert Piatri there. Penalty's been given. Oh, that's a shocking decision by the ref. And then even more shockingly, gives a yellow card to Tarkowski. Well, read into that if you will. The German referee has given a penalty to Aberdeen in the 17th minute. Gary Mackay-Stevens going to take it. It's Logan's cross. Oh my goodness me. That is an awful decision. Sam Cosgrove has done a Neymar and has thrown himself to the ground under no challenge at all. Tarkowski's not even touched him, and he's thrown himself to the ground, and the referee not 10 yards away saw it right in front of his own eyes. A sensationally given a penalty, and it's one of the worst refereeing decisions I think I've ever seen. Absolutely disgraceful from the German referee, and I think where's VAR when you need it? So Gary Mackay-Stevens to take it. He drops up right foot and scores. Sends the keeper the wrong way, but it's one of the most disgraceful decisions I have ever seen. And Burnley's miserable run from penalties continue. They never get one when they get a cast iron penalty shout, and then when they get a penalty decision given against them like that, there was no way in the world that was a penalty. One of the worst referee decisions I have ever seen. Well, we thought the penalty that France got through VAR was controversial enough. I have to say that's even more controversial. And if VAR was in place, then I'm certain beyond all doubt that decision would have been overturned. And I'm sure you'd have to say he should be booked for diving. Look at that! Neymar in disguise. That's a disgraceful decision. Burnley are one down because of a dive from Mackay-Stevens, not from Mackay-Stevens, sorry, but from Cosgrove. That was a dive. The referee, not 10 yards away, could see that quite clearly, and that was a disgraceful decision. And I've got people, and I can hear the Aberdeen commentators actually saying it was a good decision. How can that be a good decision, as that ball is flicked? And it will be a corner kick to Burnley, and now need to get over the setback on how tough it is to take, because honestly, I've seen some baffling refereeing decisions in my time, and certainly during the World Cup we saw some very debatable refereeing, especially in two or three of the England matches I covered. None worse than that. Here's the corner from Gudmundsson towards the back post. Header one at the back post. Who's going to win the second ball? There's a bit of pushing and shoving going on, but the referee was happy enough with it, and the ball anyway was with Joe Lewis. And the referee again. Oh, what's he doing now? If he's gonna pull back, if he's gonna pull it back, what's Jeff Henrik supposed to do? Not block the goalkeeper? I'm afraid this German referee has been. I mean, you could say that's actually a foul there by the number 28 Oban on Ben Mee. This German referee is a disgrace. He gives a soft penalty, and then there's one more than that at the other end. Ben Mee's clearly been pushed, and he doesn't get anything for it. Has he been taken in by this partisan Aberdeen crowd? But there's got to be some serious doubt. I mean, if the video technology was in place, there's no doubt at all that if Burnley had reviewed that, then the penalty would never have been given. Cosgrove has dived, he's cheated, and he's conned the referee. He's obviously been taking diving lessons off Neymar. It's a disgrace when a professional has to resort to such dirty tricks to win a penalty. And also the crowd didn't help Burnley's cause there, because it convinced the referee to give it. I'm not saying this out of sour grapes or because I'm a Burnley supporter. I do have genuine concern about the refereeing on that incident. But Burnley are behind, and we're coming up towards the halfway mark of the first half here. The Claret's match delayed. Aberdeen 1, Burnley 0 in the Europa League. But Burnley still very much, I have to say, haven't played particularly well, and they've looked a little bit powder puff going forward. I will say that. But I honestly think the referee there has made an absolute ricket. Daniel Seibert, what an absolute disgrace of a decision. Well, we complained about the poor state of refereeing during the World Cup over the last month or two, but this really has taken the biscuit. The last 3 or 4 minutes, the referee will not look back with any real fondness. Here's McGinn on the near side. McGinn in his own half on his halfway line, and then plays the ball back to Tommy Holben. And Holben gets the ball forward over the halfway line. Good. Well, it's actually a good ball there, and almost looking for Cosgrove, but ball comes running into Anders Lindegaard's hands. He had no chance from the penalty. Micah Stevens struck it to the goalkeeper's right as the keeper's looked, and struck it to the left-hand side from the kicker's viewpoint. It's nestled sweetly in the left-hand corner, and Burnley held behind, but the penalty, it's highly debatable whether that should be given. It'll be interesting to see what Sean Dyche makes of that after the game. You'll hear from him regardless of the scoreline as we come past the 23rd minute mark of the game. Now, is this a penalty on Ben Mee? Well, that's more of a penalty, but pushed there by Hoban on Ben Mee. Now, for me, that's more of a penalty. And that's the consistency, the inconsistency of officials. If they can't officiate properly, why are they FIFA-approved officials? Somebody is going to ask serious questions of the referee. Is he out of sync? Is this game too much for him? Well, we'll have to see. I'm sure he referees in one of the best leagues in the world, the German Bundesliga, and certainly his referee games are that of big significance over in Germany. And the Bundesliga is a big league, it's a massive league, it's highly competitive, but Bayern Munich will probably disagree with what I said, because they've won it at the canter for the last 3 or 4 years. Here's number 28 Hoban on the left hand side and gets the ball forward. It's a good ball, but Tarkowski was in there. What also baffled me about the old penalty incident, just to go back to that, was the booking of Tarkowski when he did absolutely nothing wrong. But here come Here comes Shinnie now coming forward. Shinnie with the shot. Hit it with his right foot and he hit it straight down Lindegaard's throat. It's a good run there by Graham Shinnie. And Westwood there, very, very careless in possession. And this is what, taking the penalty and the controversy of that aside, Burnley really haven't been at the races this first 25 minutes. It's got to be said. I don't think Joe Lewis has had a serious save to make. But having said that, the referee has not been fair in some of his decisions thus far. This is Lowton now on the right. Infield again to Westwood. Now Lennon is on the right hand side, and this guy has looked lively. And he's teased that one across, but the ball's ended up on the roof, and then it could have, on another day, that would have found Wood on the far stick, but instead the ball went on to the top of Joe Lewis's net and over for a goal kick. So 25 minutes gone. By the way, for delayed matches this season, we will not be using the comments section or the live chat because we're not live. But what I will say is, for all our live matches, the chat will be in full operation. So that element will still be there for our live matches, but for the delayed games, it will not be in operation. As we go past come up towards the 26th minute here of this first leg of the Europa League, second qualifying round. Burnley 1-0 down, and there's a foul there. There was a clear foul inside the centre circle, and the German referee, not 5 yards away, didn't see it on Chris Wood, or Jeff Henrik rather. I just find it amazing that he's been taken in by this Aberdeen crowd, and then a foul there for a nothing tackle there by Chris Wood. I really do think that they're making an awful lot of it. It's Ferguson involved. Ferguson's looking for that. He's just ran into Wood and has collided with him, and it's by his own admission. He's gone in there looking for the free kick. He's got it. I want to ask the question, the officials here, are they trying to... I know Aberdeen are on paper an inferior side, but has he been taken in by this partisan Scottish crowd? I mean, the Scottish commentators, the club commentators for Aberdeen, they're absolutely waxing lyrical with the referee at the moment, and I'm very disappointed to hear that. And I know a couple of them. I know one of them, and I'll name and shame him throughout the match, because I think he's been an actor. I've been sort of half listening to him when I have my earphones on and off. There's a free kick here to Aberdeen. Oh, throw-in rather. Holban number 28 with the throw-in. 1-0 to Aberdeen. Controversial penalty put away by Gary McCarthy-Steven. I can't really take anything away from the penalty, the way the penalty was dispatched. There was no argument about the way he sent Lindegaard the wrong way. But there's a lot of debate whether that penalty should have been given, as that cross comes in again. And almost a defensive aberration, but in fact a free kick had been given. Now a foul again, this time by Shinnie on me. The two captains colliding with each other. Another good cross, this again by McGinn. Yeah, Shinnie just pushes him there. Ward had seen it out for a corner. Looks from the first angle as if he'd knocked it perilously close to his own goal, but it wasn't. But there is a... But Burnley should be concerned at the moment, because they haven't really turned up to the party in this first 28.5 minutes, and that's a bit of a worry now for Burnley. John Dyche will put it to the fact that they've not had a proper pre-season. They do have a couple of pre-season games, or have a pre-season game sandwiched in between the second leg on Saturday, I think. And then of course the big return game on Thursday night, which you'll be able to, which we're doing a vlog for on the YouTube channel, as Burnley now coming in search of an equaliser. First leg of the Europa League here at Pittodrie. Lowton with a good, well, not a good cross in the end. It was easily headed away there by McKenna. Now a chance here for Lowton again. Have a second goal perhaps. He should have crossed earlier then. He took too long, and in the end it allowed McGinn to get back and get a block off. But as soon as he got the ball second time around there, I felt Lawson should have crossed in should have crossed it first time. Coming up towards an half an hour mark, but the Burnley fans know a little bit more buoyed by the way the Burnley players have reacted in the last sort of 5 or 10 minutes since the goal. And in fact, they've got a corner. Goodmanson with the corner, left-footed into the penalty area, but it's an easy one there for Joe Lewis. In fact, he was fouled there, the Aberdeen goalkeeper. And that's the worry. He's not the best goalkeeper in the world, Joe Lewis, but he hasn't had a significant shot to save. And that is the worry. Taking the officials and the way they've been diabolical, you can't say Burnley haven't been brilliant. But Aberdeen have been very much the better side in terms of attacking this first half. I don't think there's much argument about it. It's just the way they've got the penalty and got the lead. That's a very hard... It's very hard for a lot of people to take here, especially if you're from England, because that was not a penalty. I think a lot of neutrals will agree, although tell that to 20 odd thousand passionate Aberdeen fans and their commentary team, a good commentary team, because they were convinced it was a penalty, and certainly a lot of neutral people will say otherwise. But we've had half an hour, and Burnley are in trouble, not in severe trouble as yet. There's still a long way to go in the tie. An away goal could be important come the final reckoning, but as long as they stay in the game and hold in there, they've got every chance of going away with a draw or a win. Remember, Burnley have always bounced back, as we saw so many times last season, from setbacks, and this is nothing new to them. But and of course the refereeing has been again suspect. But the German referee has not won many friends for me, and I don't think he'll be welcoming Burnley anytime soon. That's a good ball though to Lennon. Lennon to the byline, good ball back, and in the end nobody was in there, and that's the problem when you're playing one up top. The two Aberdeen centre backs have had Chris Wood in his pocket right from the word go. It's a throw-in level with the Aberdeen penalty area to Burnley, which Matt Lawton is going to take. Again, back to Lawton again, right hand side, back in field again, this time to Westwood. Westwood brings Ben Mee into the attack, Mee into Wood, Wood back to Westwood, 25 yards from goal. Westwood to Lennon, right to the penalty area. Lawton with a right footed cross from the right, but it's an easy one there for Joe Lewis, and that is the problem. I think Burnley have missed a trick here in formation, in tactics. I think if they started with Sam Vokes and Chris Wood up front, I think it would have been a much tougher test for the centre halves than what they've already had so far. I think that's the worry tactically. I think Sean Dyche may have got this one a little bit awry. Sam Vokes is amongst the substitutes. Just to go through the substitutes, already Lindegaard is on. The other subs, they can only use 2 more, by the way. Taylor, Vokes, Walters, Wells, Bardsley and Long. So 2 from those 7 allowed, as Lindegaard takes a right hand side cross. Mackay Stephen, and very comfortable on the edge of his 6-yard box. Just to go through Aberdeen's 7 substitutes, they've got Thomas Tierney, the backup goalkeeper, and then it's Chris Forrester, Stephen Gleeson, a very good player in his own right, Scott Wright, Stevie May, of course, formerly of Motherwell, Dean Campbell and Bruce Anderson. That's amongst their substitutes, and that's given away rather cheaply again by Jack Cork. And this has been the theme of the first half from Burnley. They've got into really good attacking positions, but Aberdeen have been so, you've got to say, have been so well organised defensively, as that ball was almost ready through to Cosgrove, and that would have rubbed salt into a big wound if he had gone at the end of that ball and tried to beat Lindegaard and make it 2-0. Because the guy cheated, no doubt about it. He did a Neymar con the referee. I don't like to see that in the game, and he hasn't set a good example to any youngsters who may well be watching this or watching it in the stadium. Here's Wood now, 25 yards out, gets his shot in, it goes into the 2-tiered stand behind Joe Lewis's goal and behind for a goal kick here. Not going Burnley's way tonight here in the Granite City, I'm afraid. It's Wood's left footed shot. There was never trouble with Joe Lewis. It went a good couple of feet over the crossbar, and behind for a goal kick to Aberdeen. Derek McInnes. Oh, his team have been the better side. I don't think there's much argument about that. The argument is, should they be in front? And I'd like to have seen them score in a sort of much more legal way. They won a penalty for false pretences and legal false pretences, and that is something that us English will not be able to stomach here at the moment. You know, you want the referee to be impartial, but when you've got 20,000 Aberdeen Scottish fans on your backside, you are inclined, whether the decision's right or wrong, to give it, and they give it. But it's, I will say this, I mean, I've said it before, I've said it again, that has got to be one of the worst decisions, to give the penalty, then to give a yellow card for Tarkowski. One of the worst decisions I think I've ever seen. I've been commentating now on the I'm doing live commentaries, live radio commentaries now for, this is our third full season, as that corner comes in from the far side by Gudmundsson. His delivery's not been up to the usual standards, whether it's down to the fact that they've not got up to full speed with the pre-season and everything. I mean, it's another problem I have with UEFA. Why do they have to schedule these games at this time of the year? But that's the way it is, as this ball comes in towards the penalty area. Out as far as Cork, who hits the shot, charged away. Now a chance here for Aberdeen with Gary Mackay-Stevens. Still in his own half, however. And he's found Cosgrove. Cosgrove goes down there looking for retribution, and he's been fouled there by Lowton. According to the referee, Cosgrove, well, I'd like to see that one again. He did go over a little bit more theatrically as well. Lowton, I don't think he's going to have the yellow card brandished, and I would be very surprised if he was. Booked by the German referee. I think he has booked him, I think. Let's see what happened. Well, I don't think it's a yellow card offence. In fact, it was Lewis Ferguson who went down, not Cosgrove. I was doing poor Cosgrove a disservice. Here's the free kick though. Aberdeen lead as we go into the last 10 minutes of the first half. We've had 36 3/4 minutes here at Pittodrie. First leg, it's not going to be over yet. I don't think we should be panicking, although I think a lot of Burnley fans will feel very hard done by. I've been looking at social media, and they've had plenty of bad things to say about the German referee so far, the Burnley fans. As I say at the end of the commentary, we'll hear from Sean Dyche and a couple of other protagonists as the game comes to a close. We'll also hear from Derek McInnes, of course, because we've got to give it from both sides. Here's McGinn now on the left hand side. McGinn having to turn back, and McGinn gets the cross in and hooked away by Burnley. Still 1-0 Aberdeen. 37.5 minutes gone. 20,000 just over at Pittodrie. It's actually been quite a warm day in the north east of Scotland, although the sea breeze will have made it a little bit more cooler. But it has been quite warm to say. We're in northwest Scotland. It's been quite an exotic weather. Costadale, Aberdeen. Shirt sleeve weather. 38 minutes of the first half gone. 1-0 to Aberdeen. And a throw on the far side to Aberdeen. Midway inside the Burnley half, which Shay Logan will take. It's Logan now towards Shinnie. Shinnie on the right hand side. Now Mackay-Stevens. Mackay-Stevens loses it. Tarkowski pinching the ball. Now finding Jeff Henrik. It's Jeff Henrik now trying to get the ball forward. Now Ben Mee will offer him a bit of support and hooks it up towards Chris Wood, who's been non-existent so far. Just a one speculative 25-yard shot which sailed a good couple of feet over the crossbar. It's the best that Burnley have been able to muster in terms of shooting on sight. Now then, chance here for Lennon. Lennon towards the area, just cuts in from the left hand side. That's a poor ball again, and it's that final ball, that spin, and lacking really in terms of the way that it's all gone wrong really for Aberdeen, or gone wrong for Burnley I should say. This is Jack Cork now on the near side. Cork running at the defenders, looking for Wood. Wood back in turn now for Westwood. Still 1-0 to Aberdeen. 39 minutes gone. There's touch back by Lennon. Henrik now to Westwood. Good running again. Now then, chance here for Ward. Good cross, and again, nobody gambling inside that 6-yard box, and then cleared away there by Holborn. Burnley still have it. They're coming into it a bit more in the closing stage of the first half. 39.5 minutes gone. And here come Burnley once again. Looking for this equalising goal. And of course, if they get it, it's an away goal to boot as well. Henrik has it midway inside the Aberdeen half. Plays it out towards the right. Cork onto Lawton. Lawton now, plenty of time now to get a cross in. And he gets the cross in, and it's a poor cross with his right foot. And now Cosgrove holds it up. And does well. McGinn now back there to Holban, who hits it straight at Lennon, and then the ball ricochets very kindly to Aberdeen's Joe Lewis to pick that one up. We're now into the final 5 minutes of the first half as we look at a replay. Stephen Ward crossing across, and why isn't Chris Wood getting in that 6-yard area? He needs to be a bit more proactive. I know it's pre-season, I know fitness levels aren't really as good as they should be, but you've got to question Chris Wood's ability at the moment. He's too far, he's too off the pace for me at the moment, and that's a bit of a worry. Holban with the throw, 10 yards inside the Burnley half. Just stole a couple of inches there, which I think the referee should be looking at a bit more. And then the ball is going to ball to Lindegaard, who takes the ball quite easily. Apart from having to face the penalty, he hasn't had too much to do, the Burnley goalkeeper. In fact, both goalkeepers haven't really had too much to do. I've not made a meaningful save, but the game has been very frenetic and very frantic. And again, another misplaced pass by Cork, and now this time Cosgrove gets in there once more up against oh, he goes down as if he's been shot. If that's a free kick, then that's another disgraceful decision. Cosgrove clearly dived on the left hand side. Tarkowski had his back, and then Cosgrove just goes over as if he's been shot. He's been watching a lot of Neymar during the summer, there's no doubt about that. Sam Cosgrove has been a disgrace in this first half, and I think he's not been penalised. I think the referee has to get the book out and book Cosgrove for diving, or simulation, as most commentators tend to describe it as, but we know it as diving. I'm not a commentator that minces his words. We're inside almost the last 3 minutes of normal time. There might be a couple of minutes, 2 or 3 minutes at the end of the first period, of course, for that unfortunate injury, of course, to Nick Pope. Let's not forget about Pope. And hopefully we'll get some news from Sean Dyche later on about that. But the signs didn't look good as he was carried off, and that was in the 13th minute. Aberdeen now trying to referee the match. Let the referee. Ferguson saying that, well, Aberdeen have been stealing a few yards from set plays, so why can't Burnley? It's not one law for one and another for another. Burnley 3 kicks, and now Ben Mee has it inside his own half, over the halfway line he goes on the left hand side, plays it toward, again it's just pass, and just hasn't been any penetration from the Clarets in the first half. Sean Dyche has to get the air dry out, and that's another poor ball from Wilton, who's usually Mr. Reliable in these sort of in these sort of games, and he hasn't really been that in the first half, and that's you have to say a bit of a worry here as we're going to the final 2 minutes of normal time here at Pittodrie at the end of the first half. It's quite a worry here. Burnley trailing for a controversial penalty, and it was a controversial penalty. Goodmanson wearing a number 7 shirt, incidentally, looking to emulate another fantastic winner off the pass, Super Glenn Little. Here's Lennon pace to Burn, even though he's 31 years old, he's still running around as ever. He's got plenty of European experience. He's well crossing in now, and now Lowton tries to curl one, or rather Goodmanson tries to curl one, and he's curled it wide. The target again, Joe Lewis, with no meaningful save to make at this stage of the game. Worries are plenty here for Burnley, there's no doubt about that, and as we go into the final minute of the first half, and well, serious questions and inquests have to be made about the referee's sanity to give a penalty, which was never ever a penalty in the first place, for a foul allegedly on Sam Cosgrove. I'm absolutely convinced it wasn't a penalty. Now we've seen about 3 or 4 replays of it. It just doesn't make sense to me that the penalty has been given, and I'm convinced about that. And it's absolutely disappointing when you see a decision quite like that. And I don't like to accuse referees or anything amounting to that, but surely there has to be consistency. We played the 45 minutes, incidentally. We're now with 13 seconds into stoppage time, for which there are 3 minutes at the end of. But it's been a disappointing first half for Burnley. They haven't been penetrative enough, but the penalty should never have been given in the first place. And one has to look at the refereeing decision and take a long hard look in the mirror, because it was never a penalty. Played 40 seconds of the 3 minutes. We'll take a 2-minute break and then come back with full second half commentary in just a second, as Wood tries to gamble in there. Ward tries to gamble in there, goes down. Wasn't a penalty, the ball had been out of play. So Devlin doing well there, and there is a bit of a togetherness with the Aberdeen side. They are playing as a team, whereas Burnley are trying to probably be too tippy-tappy. We can't afford to be ticky-tacky in terms of the way that we played the game, because that could be a dangerous ploy. We are 1-0 down, and the longer we are 1-0 down, the more difficult it's going to be, as we now go into the second of 3 minutes here at the end of the first half. This is Gary Mackay-Steven on the right hand side. Well, he tried to be a bit clever there, and then Ward goes in, claiming he got the ball. The Aberdeen fans convinced it's a free kick, and the referee again gets taken in by the crowd. Did Ward get any of the ball here? I'm just looking very well. It's a bit soft. It's a bit soft. Ward went in there to win the ball, just fractionally missed, but I don't think he got any of the manners either. Once again, the referee's been taken in by this partisan crowd here at Pittodrie. We're now going into the final minute of the 3. Aberdeen have a free kick again. Chris Ward furious with the referee, who's not been on Burnley's side all day. Devlin this time allegedly fouled. I say allegedly because you don't know what's coming next with these Aberdeen players. They've cheated and dived, and I've won 3 kicks and penalties in the first half under very false pretences. 30 seconds of the 3 minutes to go at the end of the first half. Controversial penalty in the 18th minute, scored by Gary Mackay-Steven for a foul on Cosgrove, who dived. An alleged foul, I should say. So McGinn to chip the ball into the penalty area, headed away this time by Tarkowski, and up away now. We're into the final 10 seconds of the stoppage time at the end of the first half, and well, that was good play there from the defender, and help for a throw to, it was Devlin who was doing some of the covering job back in his own half and doing well. And that's the half-time whistle then at Pittodrie. A real disappointing first half if you're a Claret supporter, which I number myself one. A 19th minute penalty converted by Gary Mackay-Steven, but one has to question the referee on all that. And Jack Court making the point now, I'm seeing, towards the German official. It was a cross from Logan, and at what point did Tarkowski actually touch Cosgrove? I can't see it myself. One of the worst decisions I have ever seen in 25 years of watching or commentating on football. But it's that undecision, a poor decision from the referee, and that's put Burnley behind. But having said that, Burnley have been poor themselves, but they've got it all to do in the second half. But they're still not out of this tie by any stretch of the imagination, the Clarets. Hard time here at Pittodrie. It's Burnley 1, Aberdeen 0. And we'll be back for the second half in a couple of minutes. And a warm welcome back to Aberdeen, to Pittodrie, as the second half gets underway, or about to get underway, with Burnley trailing 1-0. A goal after 19 minutes from Gary McCarthy-Stephen from a penalty that was controversially given for an alleged foul, shall we say, on Cosgrove by Tarkowski. No changes from either side as the second half gets underway, or about to get underway. Aberdeen in the red shirts are going to attack the goal to our right. There's the German referee, who will not mean too many friends in Lancashire for his refereeing so far. Burnley could have had a penalty themselves soon afterwards, as Aberdeen about to get us underway. Referee just checking. And Aberdeen get us away then in the second half. Want to go up. And as I said, they're in red shirts and attacking the goal to our right. Burnley in all white, as I said. No changes from either side. We're getting under the way. I have to say, Dave McDermott's commentary on, by the way, was an absolute disgrace. I was listening along, I was talking to you guys, and I've got to tell you that I think one or two of the refereeing decisions was very, very appalling. But yet they seem to think, well, he seemed to think that the decision was right. Well, I've got news for him, it wasn't. Here's Ward then with the throw-in. 1-0 Aberdeen lead. Ward inside the Aberdeen half to Goodmanson wearing 7. Cork now out to the far side. Lowton, who needs to have a better second half. I'm sure Deitch will have had given him a right hairdryer treatment at half time. As the ball chipped in there, and that was better. Little flick by Westwood. Just couldn't find Wood. Joe Lewis quickly off his line to carry it out as we played a minute of the second half. 1-0 to Aberdeen. Here's Joe Lewis. Right footed, gets the ball over the halfway line. Devlin on Cosgrove rather challenging with that, and Cosgrove now has gone towards the right hand side. Cosgrove carrying the ball there, back to Logan. Logan, good control by him, good close control there by Shay Logan, and then his cross comes shot from the right. Wildly out of play and behind for a goal kick to Burnley. Ben Mee has hurt himself as well. See what happened there. It was Cosgrove involved once again. Well, he hurt himself there, and then Cosgrove appeared to push me down. Now that, in my view, constitutes a bookable offence. He's already injured at this point there, Ben Mee. He's hurt himself, and then Cosgrove just stupidly shoves him to the floor. Now the referee hasn't seen that, and I think he's absolutely disgraceful. Ali Beattie giving Ben Mee some treatment here, but watch, I'm just looking at a replay here. Watch this. I mean, he's injured himself, he's fallen down there, and he's just pushed him over. That's a yellow card offence in my book. I find that incredible. But Ben Mee is a tough cookie, and he's back on his feet again. But Burnley 1-0 down as we're going towards the 3rd minute of the second half. It is a goal kick, by the way, and Lindegaard will be the man to take it. Burnley for the moment down to 10 men. Lindegaard knocks it away and then headed back by McKenna. Now Mackay-Stephen. Burnley want to get Ben Mee back on the field, and they're not being allowed to there by the referee, and they've allowed Aberdeen to go forward, and Ben Mee's only just got back on the field, and if that had gone in, I think there would have been uproar. The ball was behind, I think it was Cosgrove, as the cross came in from the right hand side. Oh! Now looked at awful challenge there on the far side. I have to say, some of Aberdeen's players spin very much on the rough side. Number 5, McKenna, and that for me is a high tackle. I know he's got the ball, but that is a high tackle. I think the referee should have been wise to that and given a 3 kick there to Burnley. Now it's fair to say they've not had any of the decisions thus far in this match. But here come Aberdeen now looking for this second goal, and here's McGinn pulling the ball back inside the penalty area. Cross from the left hand side. A second Aberdeen goal would be a disaster for Burnley, really, when you think about it. Well, the first European appearance in 51 years has not gone to the script. Here's Goodmanson back in field to Cork. Cork now deep inside Aberdeen territory. They need a goal here, Burnley, and quick. As Tarkowski comes forward, finds Lennon deep inside the Aberdeen half. Something's got to come from this now. Can Tarkowski once again produce the ball into the penalty area? Wood again easily sent off by his marker. I have to say Chris Wood has been marked with great efficiency tonight. One has got to say. Bambi to get the ball forward for Burnley. Into Goodmanson. Goodmanson turns away from Logan and Mackay-Steven and then runs into traffic, and that should be a free kick there to Burnley. It was a silly tackle there by Dominic Ball. A free kick here to Burnley. 5 minutes played of the second half at Pittodrie. Not turning out to be the night to remember for Burnley unless they can get a goal and get a positive result, a draw or a victory. And an away goal, that would be magnificent. A good point. Cork's had a save by Lewis, and I don't think he knew much about it. The ball comes out again, and then a penalty appeal turned away. Lennon's cross back in and behind Tarkowski. And where was Chris Wood again? Burnley so close to an equaliser. Jack Cork, diving header, 3 yards out, and it's hit the frailing arm of Joe Lewis. Goodmanson's cross, and I don't think the goalkeeper knew much about the save. Possible appeals there for a penalty there, or possible case, and then Lennon's cross from the right, and somehow hooker by crook Aberdeen got it clear. But they've got a free kick. Should have been the equaliser. Long kick forward. And a no foul there, was it? Free kick given. Against Westwood this time. Or in favour of Westwood this time. Ben Mee now for Burnley. 1-0 down, remember, over the halfway line. And then the ball back to Ben Mee once again. 10 yards inside his own half. Plays it over halfway in field to Chris Wood, who needs to be more further forward than what he has been throughout the match. Now then, Lennon on the far side, the right hand side, will run at the defender here. He'll run at Oban. Still Lennon. Infield again to Cork. Now then, still a chance here for Burnley here if they can make something pay here. 52 minutes of the match gone. 7 minutes of the second half being played. And that's out for a goal kick. And the Aberdeen fans actually are rising to their side at the moment. Although you can argue, it will be argued from what come may, as we just see that opportunity get caught there, and the goalkeeper just sticks out a left hand, a left arm, and just blocks it. It just needed to be a couple of inches the other side of that arm, and that was 1-1. And that would have given Burnley a way back into the game. And out for a throw on the far side. Although it did look a foul there by Cosgrove, who has been my villain of the match so far, along with the referee, who gave a very, very questionable penalty. One of the worst refereeing decisions I have ever seen in 30 years of watching man and boy football, when I'm commentating on it. And here comes Mackay-Steven, deep inside his own half, but he's over halfway, plays it in field once more, tries to look for Shinnie, but Shinnie's lost out, and this is Wood now deep inside the Aberdeen half, plays it to the left hand side. This is Stephen Ward. Ward has to pirouette back and track back. That's a good ball now to Goodmanson, but a good tackle there. Nothing wrong with that at all from the defender. It was Ball. And he's conceded a corner. Left hand side, near side as we look. Can Burnley get themselves that equalising goal? We've had 53, nearly 54 minutes. Here's Goodmanson's corner. Not a good one. Headed away there by the Aberdeen defence. And now Mackay-Steven bounding down the left hand side. This guy's a very pacey player, and he's got two for company to his left. And it needed to be a much better ball. And then the shot in the end from Cosgrove. was more on half chance in the end. Hit it with his right foot, but he hit it so tamely that Lindegaard was able to get down very, very slowly and just gather that in at his own speed. Well, it's been a very tough examination here up in Scotland tonight for Burnley. The first commentary of the new season, the first of, I'm sure, many. But it certainly has been a real game of patrician, and nothing to choose between the two sides at this moment in time. It's been a great advert, this game, for Scottish football, for English football and Scottish football too. So 1-0 to Aberdeen. I'm just looking again at the penalty decision. I don't think it was a penalty, and I've looked at the angles several times. I believe you and me, it should have been. It's, you know, there was a possible case for a penalty. It wasn't a case for a penalty there. Burnley 1-0 down. And here's the ball come forward. Chances here now for Lennon. Lennon getting the ball back. It's a good ball back in there, but again, good defending again. 10 minutes of the second half gone. Burnley trail Aberdeen by a goal to 0. Here's Lindegaard. Lindegaard now to Westwood. Westwood now playing the ball out to Ward. Ward back in turn to Westwood. Westwood's ball in. Good ball now to Ward, who really needs to get far forward, and again loses possession rather cheaply to Mackay-Steven. Now a chance here for Logan. Oh, that's a horrible tackle. That's got to be a red card, because it was a very high tackle. Went in, I felt, with both feet. The German referee should be reaching for another colour rather than yellow, and I think it should be the same colour as his shirt. He's a very lucky, Shay Logan, there to receive a yellow card, because in my opinion that was a red card. Aberdeen get away with it. Should be down to 10 men. Look at that. Stupid. It looks a horror tackle, and I've seen reds given for that. Late on the tackle. Logan, a very lucky man indeed. I do honestly think Logan should not be booked. I think he should have been sent off the pitch. Stephen Gleeson about to come on for Lewis Ferguson, who had a good first half, it has to be said. Getting a good round of applause from this capacity crowd of Aberdeen fans. There are 2,000 Clarets in the stand below me as Goodmanson prepares to take a free kick on the left hand side. Can Burnley get themselves back into this? In towards the penalty area it goes. A little bit of to and fro in there. Potential appeals possibly for a penalty there. But again, this time Aberdeen has took it out. Played 57 minutes here at Pittodrie, and still 1-0 to Aberdeen. That penalty proving decisive for Mackay-Steven after it was controversially given for a foul on Cosgrove. Well, a perceived foul on Cosgrove, which I think he exaggerated it quite a lot. This is Goodmanson now on the right hand side. Infield to Cork. Cork now on his turn to Westwood. Westwood to Tarkowski. Back to Westwood. And that's a poor ball from Ashley Westwood. Senseless ball to play in those circumstances. 57 and 50, nearly 58 minutes have gone. 57 3/4 minutes gone. And the sooner they get Sam Vokes on, the better, I feel. He could be the difference here between winning and losing here for Burnley. It has been a tough examination of Burnley's credentials, and one must argue that should it have been played so soon after the World Cup, And, it has interfered with Burnley's pre-season quite a lot. But well, we'll just have to see how it is. I mean, if we can get an away goal, it's not beyond the bounds of possibility. The second leg will be a lot tougher for Aberdeen at Turf Moor. When Turf Moor is packed and it's got all the Burnley fans in it, it's an absolute raucous atmosphere. There's going to be 20,000 for that one, I'm sure. They sold all the tickets, I believe, and there's going to be 2,000 coming from Aberdeen for that one. A week tonight. Me and Chris Whiteman, our new resident commentator. Second in line to me in the commentary order as Cosgrove is penalised on the left hand side, deep inside Aberdeen, inside the Aberdeen half. A foul on Jack Cork. He's claiming he got the ball, and he didn't. He got plenty of the man. I think that's a good decision from the referee for once. 59 minutes have been passed, coming up towards 59 and a quarter minutes gone. And Gunnarsson with the free kick on the left hand side, 15 yards outside the Aberdeen penalty area. Gunnarsson into the penalty area, and they all went for it. And in fact, Mewa tried to back flick it, and also Wood tried to back flick it inside the penalty area. And in the end, it was a waste for Burnley. Throw to be taken by Lawton, midway inside the Aberdeen half, and then they throw it back to the halfway line. Here's Ben Mee, picks it up inside the centre circle on halfway. This is Stephen Ward on the left hand side. Ward plays the ball down, and that's a good ball there for Chris Wood, but the flag has gone up for an offside decision of a free kick to Aberdeen with an hour gone exactly. Played an hour, and Sean Dyche altered play for here. As far as he's concerned, it's a free kick taken by Joe Lewis. Lewis, 3/4 of the way up the field, flicked on there towards Mackay Stephen, and the ball hooked away again and up for another throw in. It's a raucous atmosphere inside Pittodrie now. It's 1-0. We're looking at this from English eyes now rather than Scottish eyes, and I have to say the English eyes are not smiling right now. Oh, that was loose from Cork, and that was almost punished upon. McGinn was alert, and alert to the danger very, very well. Kick away, headed away. Still 1-0 to Aberdeen. Here's Henry now picking the ball up, finding Tarkowski. Tarkowski giving it away rather carelessly to Ball. It was just an awful pass. And in the end, it's just the way it's been, unfortunately, all night for Burnley. It's just not, the passes have just been so far off the pace. It's unbelievable. And here's a chance now for Aberdeen. Cross comes in, and it's gone behind. And I think it's gone behind for a goal kick. But there's problems here for Burnley, who have yet to make a substitution. Shinnie has been involved once again. Again, Burnley just switching off there. Shinnie's cross wasn't causing any bother for the goalkeeper, but it is a bit of a worry. Burnley trailing to Aberdeen, who finished second in the Scottish Premier Division by a goal to nil. 7th in the Premier League. They got 120 million. Aberdeen got £2 million. So Scottish football is on a decline as far as the money's concerned. It's just not enough interest in it. I know Chris Sutton was singing its praises or defending it right to the hilt. I don't understand why. Attendances are not exactly up at the moment, although Rangers with Stephen Gerrard might just bring a little bit more dimension to the Old Firm side of things. I think a lot of people don't, but the purists don't enjoy half the Scottish matches because apart from Rangers and Celtic, there's not much else to talk about. And that's no disrespect to Aberdeen, who have played okay tonight, but they've been second best in the second half. As Lindegaard has the ball. Lindegaard with the kick, right footed, over the halfway line it goes, up towards Wood. That's got to be a free kick surely for a foul there on Chris Wood. And it was Logan who was, or Hoban, sorry, that was fouling him, and the free kick's been taken quickly. Back to Lowton once again. Lowton looking for options. He's got one there in Westwood. Westwood has got 2 red shirts all over him there. Still deep inside the Aberdeen half. Now midway inside the Aberdeen half. The ball out to the far side. Westwood back in field. And Henrik does well. Pirouettes away from his man. Finds Westwood. Westwood now tries to dink a ball over towards the far side where Lennon was waiting, but 2 Aberdeen defenders were there. This is Lowton. Lowton in field to Westwood. Westwood, another poor ball. Never going to find Lennon in a month of Sundays. And I think Westwood, if it had been a Stephen Defoe or a Robbie Brady putting that in, when the quality was obviously there, but Westwood, I think, does lack that quality, I believe, to be a top European player. And as to be questions about the transfer policy at Burnley, and it shows the lack of depth in the team. No Brady, no Defoe, no Ashley Barnes, who would have relished a match like this tonight. Maybe at least one of them could be fit again for the second leg, which takes place at Turf Moor a week tonight. And at the moment it's 1 goal here from Mackay Stevens that's deciding the first leg. In goes Gleeson very hard there, and then a foul there showing on Henrik, but the referee playing on, and here's ball over to the far side, and here comes that man again, now McGinn, who's tormented Burnley on the left hand side, and McGinn again taunts Lowton, gets the crossing, still a chance in there, header one, and again a good save this time by Lindegaard. And Ben Mee was nowhere on the first flick, and that should have been 2-0 to Aberdeen. Lindegaard stopping the opportunity, but Niall McGinn here, good ball in there. With 65 minutes gone, Cosgrove winning the first header, and Mackay Stephen almost doubling the lead there for Aberdeen. It was a great save by the substitute keeper, Lindegaard. I said Burnley haven't made a change. They didn't make a change in the first half. Remember when Pope got injured? It seems such a long time ago. We've had so much incident since then. It's on Truss. The corner comes in, and then a shot by Shinnie. In fact, it's gone out of play, and it came back to McGinn. He was, in actual fact, in an offside position. And a free kick to Burnley. And they're rather fortunate there, the Clarets. Could have been 2-0. Mackay Stephen on another day. But once again, you've got to give Niall McGinn a bit of credit. Cosgrove, very poor defending, it has to be said, by Ben Mee. And he was very, very shabby. Allowed Mackay Stephen, who's not the tallest of players, to win a ball he should have easily won. And and the referee, as well, he's saying that the Aberdeen player dived here, caught, ball went over. I think he did go over the top there with his theatrics. Let's see if he got the book. No, he didn't get the man there. Ball's dived. He's dived, and that's been a disgrace. Been disgraceful. Now Burnley about to make a substitution, and not before time too. Second of the night, Henrik off, and Ashley Sam Vokes on. Can he make the difference? It looks as if Burnley are going to go straight 4-4-2. So it looks as if they're going to go 2 up top and really double up on the Aberdeen defence and cause double the trouble. Here's Devlin's free kick on halfway towards the far side of the field. Again a header one, and again a free kick given. And Cosgrove, whose theatrics and persistent fouling he's not got a yellow card yet. And yet Tarkowski gets a yellow card for nothing is beyond me. This German referee wants to look at his performance. I mean, that's more of a foul than the one Tarkowski did, or seemed to have done on Cosgrove himself. And this is what winds me up about the refereeing paternity. You book Tarkowski for nothing, and you don't book Cosgrove for a challenge that was 3 times more aggressive than what was allegedly done on the penalty award. Whatever happens, the referee will come out of this with no great credit whatsoever, because I don't think he's had a good match. It's still 1-0 to the Clarets. The shot comes in and over the top from 25 yards out. It was Johan Berg Gudmundsson with the shot, and Burnley there just needed to keep that down. Bolts really making his presence felt, and then the shot with his left foot there by Gudmundsson, it just cleared the crossbar. Lewis wasn't certain. I think he was backpedaling rather badly there. Burnley's so close, and he knows it, Derek McInnes. Still 1-0. Aberdeen looking down the barrel a little bit. Here's Goodmanson inside the centre circle, plays it back in field. Can Burnley save themselves? They've got 22 minutes to do it. And the ball out with Lowton. Lowton has got Lennon on the overlap. Lennon now on the far side, away from the defender, away from Shinnie. Now Westwood touches it out there to the near side, back in field to Westwood, still on the left hand side. Goodmanson, that's got to be a Burnley throw in. It is. Better from the Clarets now, coming more and more into the game. Have Aberdeen run themselves into the ground a bit too ragged here? Is Burnley's class going to tell in the last sort of 21 minutes or so that remains of this match? Burnley in the ascendancy here. One break and they're in for an equaliser. Ball chip forward and they're not going to get opportunities like that, I'm afraid. A poor ball there from Tarkowski, and a free kick to a goal kick rather to Aberdeen with 69 and a bit minutes gone. Well, Dyche just thrown on the substitute Sam Vokes. Of course, let's just remind you what happened. Nick Pope was stretchered off after, or taken off the field, substituted for a shoulder injury after 13 minutes. 4 minutes later, a controversial penalty was given against James Tarkowski for an alleged foul on Sam Cosgrove, which the referee gave. To sum it up, it was one of the worst refereeing decisions I have ever seen in 30 years of watching football matches. As the ball flicked on by Vokes, looking for Wood, and hooked away for a Burnley throw-in almost halfway inside the Aberdeen half. 20 minutes to go. And then Burnley have come out fighting in the second half, and come close with Jack Cork, and then of course Mackay Stephen came close, and then just a moment or two ago Johan Berg Goodmanson with a real 25-yard shot with his left, wrapping his left foot around the shot, and wide of the target it went. It's Goodmanson again, midway inside the half, gets up there, slipped over. Here's Ward. Ward on the left hand side. Ward with a good cross there towards Sam Vokes. Vokes wins the header, but it's into the side netting, and behind for a goal kick to Aberdeen. Well, it's turning out to be a night of frustration at the moment for the Clarets up in the northeast of Scotland. Going to look cooler now tonight. Well, no, not too cool, although the sea breeze will make it that little bit more cooler. Well, the Claret supporters, one or two worried looks on their faces I've seen. It's not been the night they'll want to remember for a long time. And so much optimism once the season was over. Last season was over really. About the summer, who was going to come in? No one's come in yet. Maybe tonight has taught Sean Dyche one thing and the board one thing. They need reinforcements, and they need them quick, because they've been below par, but they've been a little bit more better in the second half. They've shown a bit more urgency, but they still haven't been able to take the chances up until this point. Here's Tarkowski now on almost on halfway. Westwood inside the centre circle, 5 yards inside the Aberdeen half, sprays it towards the left hand side, looking for Ward, can't find Ward, the ball out of play, and a goal kick to Aberdeen with 18 minutes of normal time to go here at Pittodrie. It's not been plain sailing for the Clarets. I said it would be 2-0 in my Facebook prediction last night, and well, I certainly got that one wrong in terms of Facebook predictions. And it's not been a very good night so far for Burnley, but they've still, as I said, less than 20 minutes to pull this one right around and get back into the game, and they're capable of doing it, there's no doubt about that. As we come up towards the 73rd minute mark of the game, in towards the penalty area it goes, out to Cork, edge of the area. Thought he might have had a shot there, and then the ball comes out once again. Goodmanson now looking to tee it up. Westwood out to the far side, and Lennon and Lowton on to Lennon. Lennon now faced by two Aberdeen defenders. Plays a good 1-2 there with Westwood. Now then, he cuts in field. Oh, just behind Chris Wood. Wood though finds Ward. Better from Burnley. Ward's cross is a good one towards Vokes. Vokes' header straight at the goalkeeper, but there was a bit of a push going on when Sam Vokes got his header in. It was straight at Joe Lewis anyway, so probably saved a little bit of embarrassment there for Sam Vokes. There's the cross from Ward, and he is pushing his man. Although, again, the Aberdeen players making a little bit of meal of it, but it was a push, but there's no need for him to fall over as if he'd been shot. Holban, but it was a definite push. Free kick though to Aberdeen. Coming up towards the 74th minute mark, we play 73 3/4 minutes. Offside the given by the German linesman against Cosgrove, who's been a real thorn in Burnley's side tonight. They have played better second half. They went at the races first half despite the refereeing incompetence really from the referee, who's from the German referee Daniel Seibert. Again, another Burnley attack comes to nothing. Cross straight in from the right, straight into Joe Lewis's path. Now here's Logan. Logan over the halfway line. Infield again. The ball drifts out to the right, and this is Gleeson. Gleeson to Logan, who's onside. Chance inside the area for Cosgrove, and there's still a chance here for McGinn, who shoots wide. McGinn shooting wide. He has been good to that. Now McGinn. Ball initial crossed in there by Logan, and then now McGinn cutting in from the left, just shooting wide. Aberdeen about to make their second substitution. In fact, Stevie May as well is going to come on as well. He's about to get himself ready for the action. It looks as if Cosgrove is going to come off. He's suffering a bit. Quarter of an hour to go. I'm not sure if it's an actual attempt to run the clock down. Doesn't seem to be too much wrong with him, unless he's got some sort of a bit of cramp perhaps. Was going off, and I'm hoping that the Burnley fans give him the bird, because I have to say he's been an absolute disgrace to his profession into giving a penalty which was never, which Aberdeen got and scored after 19 minutes from Mackay Stevens. So Stevie May comes on as Aberdeen look to try and hold on. Burnley have been forced into one substitution when Nick Pope was in the first half, after 13 minutes, when Nick Pope was had to be taken off the field through a shoulder injury, placed by the man who's going to take the goal kick now, Anders Lindegaard. And so Stevie May on. The second Aberdeen substitution is yet to be confirmed. And another player gone down, and can't tell who that is. Let's have a look. Well, at what point did Sandbox do anything wrong there? I'm trying to figure out who it is. It's Devlin. Well, he's made a meal of it again. I have to say that looked like play acting, because to me that didn't look a foul at all. And if it did, then I think the referees is about as stupid as the Aberdeen fans that have been stupid as the Aberdeen players themselves. I don't mind gamesmanship, but it's not within the confines of the rules, and that's something that we will find very hard to accept if Burnley lose the game tonight. Granted, we haven't played well, certainly in the first half, but we played much better. And here's Ward, allowed to come a long way forward, but there was just nobody inside the 6-yard box wanting to gamble, and Ward's cross was a waste in the end. And John Lewis can breathe a huge sigh of relief in that Aberdeen goal. We see that cross again. Wasn't a great cross really, didn't lack any conviction, but well, Burnley still have a problem. 1-0 down. An away goal though could change all that. Well, it's not beyond the realms of possibility. As Hughes' kick is headed away there by me. Free kick given against Ball to Burnley. 15 yards inside the Aberdeen half on the left hand side of the centre circle. Then the inside as we look. Westwood's going to take it. Now 20. We've had 78 and a half minutes almost gone. McGinney's coming off. So with 78 and a half minutes gone, McGinney's off. And on in his place is the number 15, Scott Wright. So Aberdeen making their final substitution of the evening. We can play out of the nominated 7, as they Burnley do have one substitution left by them to use. At the moment I will remind you of that Burnley bench in a second, which I can now because it's a throw into Aberdeen deep inside their own half. So the bench is for Burnley now. They've got left out there Lindegaard and Box are on, so they've one left to choose between Charlie Taylor, John Walters, Naki Wells, Phil Bardsley or Kevin Long. But at the moment it's going Aberdeen's way. Once we approach the last 10 minutes of the second half to go. We've had 79 and a half minutes. Burnley looking for this equalising goal. Here's Tarkowski. Tarkowski now to me. 10 yards inside his own half. Fix out Westwood. Westwood has found Tarkowski on halfway line. Tarkowski now to get a ball into the area. Looking towards Ward. Winning the header well. Folks inside the area. Marked by 2 Aberdeen defenders. Folks gets it under control and shoots and scores into the left top right corner. And Burnley are level. That's Pittodrie, and they deserve that. 10 minutes to play, and Burnley have got themselves a deserved equaliser. Nothing Joe Lewis could do about that, and Burnley are level. Justice has been done. Header won by Wood. Folks on the turn. There was 1 or 2 Aberdeen appeals for handball. More by the crowd than anything else, but he used his chest. We're absolutely sure there could have been a penalty there given against Devlin as well, because he was pulling Wood as Wood headed it on. But folks got away from 2 Aberdeen players, shook them off, and then absolutely lashed it into the top left hand corner of the net. It's Aberdeen 1, Burnley 1. We've got a match with a vengeance now, and Burnley have got 10 minutes plus stoppage time to win it. And not only that, an away goal as well. Just when it needed. Just when it was needed. And a foul there by Tarkowski, who's got to watch his step. He's claiming he dived. And May does have the tendency there to... Well, I think he conned the referee a little bit there. He conned him. No doubt at all that Stevie May dived there for me. Well, Burnley are in the ascendancy now, but they've got a free kick to defend. It's 1-1 here at Pittodrie. This tie is evenly poised now. Burnley have that advantage. An away goal. Stevie May with the free kick though on the left hand side, and again it didn't really reach the first man. It was a poor free kick from May. 1-1 it remains here. Here's Logan on the right hand side, plays the ball in there to Mackay Stephen, and in fact wins the throw in. Mackay Stephen. Well, it's been an amazing second half for Burnley. They have really battled back well. They were on at the races admittedly in the first half despite the incompetence of the referee, but having said that, Burnley have come out much better second half and have richly deserved their equalising goal and their away goal as well to boot. Let's not forget that. Fantastic moment there for Sam Vokes. The substitute has done it, and well, it makes it all worthwhile. And you've got to say now, Burnley are the team in the ascendancy. The Premier League class is just starting to show a bit. And how big could that goal prove to be come the final reckoning? Well, one will have to say. But the ball is now played in towards the area. Coming up towards 7 minutes left to play. And that's exactly where we're at now. 7 minutes left. May on the chase against Tarkowski. He's bullied Tarkowski off the ball, but then Tarkowski gets back there and stops him. But here's Gleeson. Gleeson with the crossing towards the area. Again headed away by Tarkowski, but not very far. But then Lennon picks the loose ball up for Burnley. And here goes Wood on the break. He's got Vokes up ahead of him, and Lowton busting the gut on the right hand side. Lowton towards the penalty area. Low cross in there. Should have been a goal there. Henrik's claiming for a penalty. Hands, I think they're claiming. And again, the referee's not giving it. Rather, I say Henrik, I think it was Westwood rather, not Henrik. Sorry, I got confused there in the emotion at the moment. And Goodmanson is down on his haunches. A free kick to Burnley. Should have been a penalty there for me. Look at this. Goodmanson with a good run. It was Goodmanson. And Westwood, that hits his hand. That to me has hit his hand. The referee has got that one wrong. That was more a penalty than what Aberdeen got in the first half. Another despicable piece of refereeing from the German. And the German ref has been absolutely diabolical. Here's Cork to Westwood. Westwood now towards the left hand side. Back to Westwood once again. Westwood to Cork. Cork now to Leonard. Leonard back to Cork. Inside the centre circle this time. We played 84 minutes and 30 seconds of the match. We're into the last 5 minutes and 20 seconds of normal time. Aberdeen 1, Burnley 1. Burnley should have had a penalty a few seconds ago. Cork now for the Clarets. Westwood gets the ball now from Lennon. Still 1-1 here at Pittodrie. A real blood and thunder England-Scotland clash. Up in the north east of Scotland, right on the Grampian coastline. Here's Ward to knock the ball forward, looking towards Wood that time. Well, Vokes was the furthest man forward, incidentally. And then the ball knocked back once again. This is Ward for the Clarets. And Ward gets the ball back, and he finds the goalkeeper Lindegaard. And Lindegaard now with 85.5 minutes gone. 4.5 to go. Burnley 1-1 with Aberdeen. It's been a real battle that has really been absolutely contested with great authority by these two sides. No quarter given, but at the moment Burnley will hold an advantage. Even a draw would turn into a win because of that away goal. And remember, if it was to end 0-0, it would count double after 90 minutes, not like the League Cup where it counts double after extra time. Lennon is offside, incidentally, on the left hand side. Free kick to Aberdeen with just under 4 minutes to go. Well, it's all to play for in that second leg down at Turf 4 a week today. You'll be able to see a vlog of that on the JB Clark YouTube channel. There'll be no commentary because I'm going to be actually at the match itself in the cricket field stand, watching it as a spectator. But it will be a vlog, and I will be giving my opinions on the second leg, and you'll be able to see that within the next week or so on the JB Clark YouTube channel as May goes charging through. He appeals for handball. Never it was. It clearly comes off the chest of Matt Lawton. How on earth Stevie May can appeal for that is ridiculous. Here's Logan on the right hand side. Back to Mackay Stephen. And then the ball is out of play. Conceded by Ball. And a throw in to Burnley. Just looking at a replay there. No, not for me. Clearly hits him on the chest. Stevie May clutching at straws there, if you ask me. Less than three minutes to play. We've got nearly 2.5 minutes to play now of normal time. Maybe down to the fourth official from Germany to tell us how long is to go. The fourth official, incidentally, is Patrick Itterich, and he will give us an indication at the end of 90 minutes how long is there to go. And I'll have to pick a JB man in a match at the end of this 90 minutes. I'm going to go, in fact, I'm going to go for I'm going to go for Lennon. He's been more lively than most Burnley players out there today. Here's Stevie May now on the left-hand side. Infield he goes. That's a that's a handball. Clear handball. I know he slipped over, but it's a clear handball there by Gleeson. Free kick, rightly given. This is Wood now for Burnley. Can we nick a goal in the last couple of minutes? We're inside the last 2 minutes. This is Lennon. Infielder Westwood. Rather Cork over to the far side, and Lowton is there. Goodmanson has switched to the right hand and flanking Lennon to the left, and then Lennon's gone drifting towards the right this time. Cork into Ben Mee now to touch the ball on. Westwood in possession for Burnley. It's 1-1 here. We've got a minute and 20 left of the game, and then it's down to the fourth official how long he's going to head on. Here's Westwood. Westwood touching it forward. Looked like Lennon was fouled there, but it's Goodmanson here on the right hand side. Goodmanson's cross into the area, headed away by Devlin. It will be a throw into Burnley, level with the penalty area of Aberdeen on the right hand side. We're inside the last minute now of normal time. Just to remind you, Aaron Lennon has got the JB man of the match. I know Sam Vokes would have running close a little bit. Hasn't stopped running all night. Lennon. Remember, the night didn't start so good for Burnley. They were without their goalkeeper after 13 minutes after he'd injured his left shoulder. And we'll be hearing from Sean Dyche at the game's conclusion what news that will be. And then a penalty that was controversially given against the Clarets. Tarkowski with an alleged foul there on Cosgrove, who absolutely conned the referee, firstly into giving a penalty and then showing a needless yellow card as the cross comes in and Vokes was clearly offside, to James Tarkowski, which was never a yellow card in a one for Sundays. We played in 90 minutes, we've got 4 added to come now. I don't know where 4 minutes have come from, but that's the verdict we've had. But it's given Burnley a little bit more time to possibly win it. They do look the more fitter side, although they are still in the middle of pre-season, some would argue. But I have to say it's been a terrific battle, although the referee has not won many friends with the English viewpoint tonight. Sometimes you've got to look at things from an England-Scotland viewpoint with a little bit of rose tintedness. And I have to say Burnley will feel hard done by with some of the refereeing decisions as Gary McCarthy-Stephen plays the ball in, and then May seems to going very high there. Now sure, he's got to go in the referee's book. That's a clear high foot there by Stevie May. He knew what he was doing. He had a high foot there on Stephen Ward. That's dangerous play in my book. That's got to be a free kick, but it's a play on, no yellow card, but it is a free kick. Now Cork has it now inside the Aberdeen half. Now on the right hand side it goes to Lowton. Now Goodmanson on the right hand side. The far side as I look. We're into stoppage time. We've played a minute and 15 under 4. Ward crosses the ball into the penalty area where Wood is waiting. Wood can't control it. He's had a frustrating night for me, Chris Wood. He's not had his best game at all. Been real tough going for him. One ball over the top. Wood is onside. The flag has stayed down. Now Wood, he's got folks in the centre. Wood crosses in there. It's just too high for everyone, and in the end it was a ridiculous cross. Burnley had a good attack going there, and it still remains 1-1 as we come up towards the halfway mark of the stoppage time. So we've had almost of the 4 minutes. In fact, we now had the 2 of the 4 minutes. This is Aberdeen on the break, looking to try and win it themselves, and that's a foul there on Ward. The Aberdeen fans don't like it, but it's a definite decision there against Scott Wright. Clearly fouling his man, which was Matt Lowton. Definite free kick to Burnley. So we have 90 seconds left of stoppage time. Lindegaard with the free kick to Burnley. What a performance it has been for them to come back. They weren't at the races first half, it's got to be said, but you just feel if the referee hadn't been so over-eager and so incompetent, Burnley could have been heading with a 1-goal lead to take back to Turf Moor, but a 1-1 draw is not the disaster it could have been, as we've got a minute to the 4 to go, and Burnley just need to negotiate it without any trouble at all. If they can do better than that and score another goal, then brilliant. But it's a throw taken by Shinnie on the far side. 1-1 in this second leg, evenly poised. 45 seconds to go. The ball back now with Ward, with Westwood rather. Westwood now in the centre, over the halfway line. One last chance maybe for Ward. Ward will win a throw-in off Logan now as we go into the final stages. 30 seconds of the game to go. This is Stephen Wall with a throw-in for Burnley. It's been a tense and tight affair. Aberdeen no doubt were the better side in the first half, despite all the incompetencies of the referee, as that one ball is going to be taken there by Joe Lewis. I have to say Chris Wood has not had his best game, and then Burnley came back into it and got a deserved equaliser through their substitute Sam Vokes, as the referee blows up. We've had the 4 minutes and it's ended 1-1 here at Pittodrie between Aberdeen and Burnley. Well, what can I say? Good football. We had the lot controversy, 2 goals. Should a penalty have been given against Burnley? Mackay Stephen took the penalty, but before that Nick Poe was taken off, or was forced off with an injury. This was the penalty incident again. I'm seeing it there. Not a penalty for me. Mackay Stephen put the ball away, and then the equalising goal. Tarkowski in towards Chris Wood, and then he swiveled, pirouetted away from 2 defenders and then smashed it in, and we got a final score here at Turf Moor. Burnley 1, Aberdeen 1 at Pittodrie, and it's all to play for in the second leg in a week's time. So Burnley get a deserved share of the spoils in that first leg, but not without controversy. We're going to hear from 1 or 2 of the protagonists, and we will hear from the Aberdeen's viewpoint first. But let's hear from Sean Dyche first on his thoughts, and he's been speaking before the game, or after the match I should say, to Claret's player reporter Darren Bentley, and this is what Sean Dyche thought of some of the key incidents this afternoon, or this evening.
How is he, first of all? We're waiting to find out. It's gone off to hospital. It's something with his shoulder. We're not sure what yet. Yeah, we're really disappointed in that. A strange, needless challenge, if you like, in modern football. But by the way, no angle on that player. They just thought, the keeper's going to catch it, he's going to deal with it. And then I think it's the second challenge, actually. I think he's gone to make sure that it doesn't go in. I think the lad's hit his arm and sort of threw it back. So we'll have to wait and see.
Wish you well. Anders Lindegaard came on, of course, and had very little to do. You were dominating much of that game.
Yeah, that's right. I think the thing is that about this game, that when you went down there, they're in a funny predicament then. It sounds mad, but they're 1 up, and now they're like, do we keep going for second, or do we try and camp in? And mostly we forced them to camp in with some good play, I thought. We can still get sharp, we know that, but we equally know it's the middle of pre-season. A lot of good things overall from us. Some rusty bits, and some of the basics we didn't do as well, but the cutting edge in front of goal when we created 4 in
the first half and the second half.
Well, we had the amazing one though with Corky, and the one that flashed across goal and just missed. I think it's Tarky or Woody. So they're golden chances, in games like this. But overall, it's an away goal, of course, and a draw. So I don't think we're too despondent, because the performance was good enough to warrant at least that, if not more.
Especially when you consider the penalty, which looked particularly harsh.
Well, it's a tough one for us at Burnley, for all of us, because we haven't got a penalty in over a calendar year, as everyone knows. So when you see one given like that, I think it's a big reaction from their player for a tiny contact contact. But anyway, look, at C'est La Vie, we can only hope that we start getting some of these ones that we think or we consider to be soft.
We spoke in commentary of the resilience of your side. Every time it does get knocked down, it always finds a way back, and of course you did that again in the second half. Great finish from Sam.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought we were knocking on the door, to be fair, for a long time in the second sort of period of the first half, if you like, and then second half we were probing, we were trying to break down an unbelievably packed defence, and we did end up. But then Stokesy pulled a really good goal out of the blue, you know, and then he's fought in the box, but he stayed, if you like, he stayed cautious with his body. He hasn't swung his arms to get a foul, if you like, or to foul someone. He's just stayed focused on the ball, and as it drops, a great finish.
And tonight, the atmosphere, everything about the European now, have you enjoyed it?
Good, yeah. I mean, it's kind of surreal because
gone from pre-season to this, and the tempo of the game, the atmospheres, everything.
So that, you know, that is a strange one this early in a pre-season. I've never had it before, obviously, player or manager. I enjoyed the occasion. I enjoyed the atmosphere in the stadium. So both sets of fans played their part in that, made it feel like a real game. And like I say, we had a performance, I thought, that probably warranted, well, it certainly warranted a draw, I would say, and possibly more.
You got the away goal. It sets it up nicely now for Turf Moor, doesn't it?
Yeah, we're looking forward to that. You know, we've still got some bodies coming back from injury, so we want that to happen, of course. And we'll see what's what in the transfer market as well.
Hold on, Gaffer.
Well, that's Sean Dyche's view on it. So let's, before we get the Scottish angle on things, let's hear from another couple of protagonists. Let's start with the Burnley goalkeeper Anders Lindegaard, who had to come on at, as he said, short notice in that game. Here he is now speaking with Clarets player after the match, and he's speaking with Pete Oliver.
Not the way you perhaps wanted to, but how would you sum up the evening?
First of all, I'm devastated for Nick. He's come back with a lot of energy from the national team, and that experience it has been for him being a part of that experience. So I'm devastated for him. He came back focused, and he came back with a lot of energy, and yeah, he came back as an asset, even though we only had a short break. Yeah, but I'm obviously pleased that I finally got some game time. I've been waiting.
Results, a couple of very important saves in the second half.
Yeah, it was a good result for us. I think it could have been even better. I think we should have chased down the second goal more after we scored to 1-1. But European football is a funny size, and you gotta be careful no matter who you play against, especially in these knockout phases. And I think we were careful, but maybe a bit overcautious in the end.
The first thing you had to do virtually was face a penalty. They went in front with that crowd behind them. It did make it a tough night. You had to show some character. Yeah. It's not an easy place to play, and it's a very good atmosphere here. It's a big asset for Aberdeen to play in a place like this and with a crowd like this behind them. Sure, there's work to do next week. A lot of work still to do, but how important was that late goal from Sam?
How important was
that late goal from Sam Vokes? How important?
Oh, it was crucial. If we had lost 1-0 here, we would have gone into the next game knowing that we need to get a big result. Can't let in any goals, and still with the nerve of facing the risk of them scoring, and it would have been a much more difficult situation. But the work is only half done, and the whole game of who's gonna go into the next round is still very open.
And that is there, but I should say devastating news for Nick Pope. It doesn't look too good, I'm afraid, and early indications show that it could be it could be quite serious, and we wish Nick all the very best, and I hope he recovers as well to play a part in the season later on in the season ahead for the Clarets. So he will definitely be out of that second leg in a week's time. As for let's hear now from the goal scorer tonight, again talking with Pete Oliver, Sam Vokes. What an impact he made, speaking with Pete Oliver.
Yeah, it was great. Obviously it was a tough night out here tonight, and for me on the bench, obviously you're observing things, and it was a tough team to break down today, and for myself getting on the pitch and getting the goal, it was a great feeling.
I know you want to look at it again, but a good bit of skill to finish.
Yeah, I can't really remember it, to be fair. It happened so quickly, and snatch shot, and when it hit the back of the net, obviously a great feeling, but all together at night, it was a tough night. Obviously, still early in pre-season for us, so it's about building, and it's coming to a competitive game. It's always going to be tough with a kind of cup atmosphere, I suppose, and it was a good atmosphere tonight, and it was good for the fans to leave with something to take back to Turf Moor.
Got that nice happy knack of coming on and getting goals.
Yeah. As a striker, it's important. Obviously, you want to be scoring goals, you want to be playing games. So for me, it's important when I don't start to come on and affect the game when I can.
It's a new concept to us, perhaps, but it could be a big goal, a big away goal.
Yeah, of course. We knew whatever the result tonight, we wanted to take a goal at least back to Turf Moor and keep the tie alive. It was always going to be a tough night up here tonight. I thought we played some good football, but they were tough to break down at times. We've got some good positions, and we can build on this and hopefully be a lot stronger come Thursday night.
You've got to sort of pinch yourself that it's July, haven't you? It seems very early on in the year.
Yeah, of course, and we've only been back pre-season for 3 weeks now, so obviously the first couple of weeks are building up the fitness, and we've built up some minutes in games recently, but tonight for the starting 11 it was a tough night. Obviously 90 minutes again for them, so it's important that we keep the fitness growing and look to building it for next Thursday.
Yeah, it makes it a big cup tie next Thursday, doesn't it? Everything to play for.
Yeah, it does, and no better night at Turf Moor under the lights, so it's going to be another big one. I'm sure Aberdeen will bring the fans down. It'll be a similar night to tonight, and hopefully we can get the job done. It's been a lot.
There we are, that's the Burnley angle, and I have to say the referee was an absolute disgrace tonight. The penalty was never a penalty. I've looked at it 3 or 4 times and it didn't look a penalty. Incidentally, the interviewer there on the Sam Vokes interview was actually Phil Bird. Let's get the Scottish angle of it now, because obviously we've talked a bit about Burnley. Let's hear from Derek McInnes, the Aberdeen manager. Obviously there was a lot of so let's get his verdict of things. He was speaking to their version of Clarets Play, Red TV. Let's hear his reaction.
Yeah, very much so. It's half time. Obviously the onus is on us to go and score down there, but I wouldn't bet against us based on the evidence of tonight. We had some real good moments in the game, and we were unlucky not to add to the goal we scored. So I think it'd be wrong to suggest we deserved to win it. I thought we deserved something from the game. It's not only just for the effort we put in, but for the amount of intelligence and good play we had. We're up against a Burnley team who operate at a far different level from us, but we at times were very good, and at times very organised, and we restricted them to very few moments. I think the goal they score is good centre forward play. We maybe get a wee bit too tight, and Vokes uses his body well to get the shot away. But I'm not too critical of anybody. I thought my defence and my goalkeeper were outstanding. I thought the energy we showed through the middle of the park were excellent, and we carried the threat on the sides with guys and Niall. Cosgrove, a boy we paid 20 grand for up against an England international. It caused them all sorts of problems, and and I think when you look at Tommy Hoban coming in and getting thrown in at left back, a very assured performance. He's going to be a brilliant player for us. I think in the end up we'll be better for having had the game. Evidence in the past tells us that certainly last season against Rocky we can replicate games through pre-season games and do all the work in training, but nothing beats a competitive game. That is worth about 2 weeks of pre-season work, and it's the strength is in the legs now, the boys that played tonight, and we'll be better again next week for it. So the players can be pleased with their efforts. We're naturally disappointed we haven't won the game, because that's always the objective, but we still feel it's half time and a tie that we can certainly still in. I thought Burnley played very well second half. I thought they tested their organisation, they moved the ball well. I thought the one thing that we were guilty of more in the first half was showing a bit more composure and making some passes, and not just happy to be a counter-attack team. I thought we could have played a bit more, and I think because we never kept the ball better in that last 15-20 minutes of the first half, I think we were using too much energy to keep chasing the game and chasing the ball. And that's something that we aim to do better in the second leg.
There was a lot said before the tie about how poor Scottish football was in comparison to English football, but any neutral looking in on that wouldn't have known the difference, would they?
No, we see our club tonight, and a great club, and you see it in its full splendour. You know, the tribute to Neil, the colour from the sides, the noise from the side, the healthy understanding from the supporter, recognising the opponent we're playing. We showed we're a brilliant club tonight. We showed we're a good club and we're a good team. So whatever people think we can't, we're probably not going to change people's minds who have the ignorance that don't know the game. So, but you know, I think we showed we're a good team. We almost won a game, and we're a moment away from doing it.
Well, I have to agree. I have to disagree. Scottish football isn't as good as it used to be, and also, what he also failed to realise is that he was helped by some very, very generous refereeing. I'm going to sign off with this. The referee last night was a disgrace to his profession. The penalty, which was awarded to Aberdeen, was one of the worst decisions I have ever seen. I said it in commentary last night, I'll say it again tonight. My opinion hasn't changed from 24 hours on. Was one of the worst decisions I have ever seen in nearly 30 years, man and boy, of watching football. I've seen some terrible decisions down the years, and I saw quite a few very, very debatable decisions in the World Cup just gone, but that beats the lot. How Tarkowski has not even touched him. I have to agree with Sean Dyche, next to nothing contact, and then to add insult to injury, to book Tarkowski for it, it was the senseless refereeing. And I have to say, McKinney says that Cosgrove caused problems. Him and the referee were causing problems because he was rolling around like Neymar, trying to win decisions, and I didn't think it was right. But that's the way it is, and Burnley deservedly are level in the tie, and I think now the advantage is with Burnley. I think now they're odds on to win the game, and I fully expect them to win at Turf Moor. I can't see Aberdeen doing much in the second leg, because that late goal from Vaux, I think, will demoralise them, and we will see the real golfing class. I don't care what Derek McKinney says, I don't care what Chris Sutton said on the radio last night when he was commentating for BBC. Scottish football is not good. It's not a good standard of the league. So, I mean, that's my opinion. Whether the Scottish contingent will say it differently, that's entirely up to them. But there isn't the interest in Scottish football there once was, and that's a shame, because Scottish football back in the day was a really good competitive game. But the way Celtic have been possessing that league up there cannot be good for Scottish football. But Aberdeen, to their credit, first half they played really well despite the refereeing incompetence. Burnley will look to really off the pace, and maybe it's still 3 weeks into pre-season, the sandbox looks gone, but second half Sean Dyche gave them the rocket. They went to 4-4-2, and I just wonder really from a tactical viewpoint whether Sean Dyche, and I said this in commentary throughout the second half last night, whether Sean Dyche should have actually gone 4-4-2 in the first place, because I honestly think that if he'd have gone 4-4-2 at the start, I think it would have been a real tough night for the two Aberdeen centre backs, who made it easier for themselves having to just to mark the one, and that was Chris Wood. But a great result. Burnley without a away goal, and I've just got to say they're odds on to win the second leg. So that's it. Our new season of commentaries is up and running, and there'll be plenty more from next month onwards when the league season and Capital and Carabao Cup takes shape. As for the second leg, we will have a bit of coverage. It won't be commentary because me and Chris Whiteman are the two main commentators. Myself and Chris Whiteman are the main ourselves. We're the main commentators on the channel. We'll be both at Turf Moor watching as spectators, but I will be vlogging it for you guys, and you'll get to see the best bits of that vlog next Friday. But as far as this first leg, evenly poised. The referee was an absolute disgrace, but having said that, Burnley have got themselves a deserved away goal, and the second leg evenly poised, and now Burnley have to be favourites to win the second leg next Thursday. I hope you've enjoyed the delayed commentary of Aberdeen against Burnley in the first leg of the UEFA Cup second round, or Europa League second qualifying round. From me, JB, enjoy the rest of your weekend, and we'll see you for that vlog next Thursday. Till then, take care. Goodbye.